Welcome to Lesson 2.5. Objective. Solve start, change, and number stories involving money. Important words. Withdrew. This is the same thing as withdraw. Okay, if it says withdrew, that's usually meaning past tense. Somebody already did this action. Withdrew means take money out of the bank. Deposit means you put money in the bank. Madeline had $38 in her bank account. She deposited $15. How much money was in her bank account then? Remember the steps we learned last time when we were solving story problems. The first step is to think about what information do we already know. We already know Madeline had $38 in her bank account. This is the amount of money she's starting with. We also know she deposited $15 into her account. We now want to figure out what do we need to try and solve. That comes at the end in this story problem. We need to figure out how much money was in her bank account then. Now I'm going to use a diagram to help me solve the problem. Instead of a part-part total diagram, this time I have one that's called start, change, and end. Okay, I'm going to put in information I already know. Madeline started with $38 in her bank account. This money is going to change. Okay, her money's changing because she deposited $15 into the bank. Remember, deposit means add. So her $38 is going to change because she's adding 15. I need to figure out the end. How much money was in her bank account then? I'm going to go ahead and solve the problem now. 38, I'll just put it over here because I have some space over here to write, plus the $15 that she deposited will give me the end amount of money she had. I need to think about 8 plus 5. That's 13. I'm going to write my 3 here, line it up nicely. Carry that extra 10 into the column that's for the tens. Now I'm going to add these numbers together, 3, 4, and 5. Means she ended with $53. I'm going to write this out as a number model. I'm going to use dollar signs this time because that's our unit. $38 plus $15 equals a total at the end of $53. Okay, since my unit this time is money, I can just put a dollar sign to represent unit. Now I want to think, does this answer make sense? I have an answer of $53. If I'm adding $38 and $15, I have two smaller amounts that should add up to a bigger total. $53 is bigger than either of these two parts, so our answer seems to make sense. Next story problem. Ronald had $76 in his bank account. He withdrew $29. How much money was in his bank account then? Okay, again, let's think about what do we know. We know Ronald had $76 in his bank account. We also know he withdrew, think about those vocabulary words, he withdrew $29. How much money was in his bank account then? This is what we're trying to figure out. Now I'm moving on to step 3 in my story problem solving. What am I going to do? I'm going to make a diagram. Again, we're going to use the start, change, end diagram. Ronald started with $76. The $76 was changing because he withdrew. Remember what that means? That means to take money out of the bank. If he's taking money out of the bank, the money's going away, so we are subtracting. He withdrew $29. I need to figure out then the end. How much money was in his bank account after he took out his $29? I'm going to show my work. 76 minus 29. Okay, I'm going to start on the right side of the problem. 6 minus 9. I can't do that because 9 is bigger than 6. Okay, 6 is too small. I cannot take away 9 from 6. So I need to make a trade. I'm going to check with my tens. I can do 7 minus 2, so this is a nice big number. I can take 1 10 away. Instead of 7 tens, now I have 6 tens. That 1 that I took away, I'm going to give to the 6. I'm going to add 10 that I took away from here, add it on to these 6 ones, and now it becomes the number 16. Now my top numbers are bigger than my bottom numbers, so I can go ahead and subtract. 16 take away 9 is 7. 6 take away 2 is 4. So my answer is $47. If I were to write that out as a number model, I would write down 76 minus the $29 that Ronald withdrew equals an answer of $47. I want to think to myself, does this answer make sense? Okay, would it make sense that I have a small answer here of $47? Well, I'm starting with 70, over $70, just taking away around 30. So to have an answer of around 47 would make sense. If I had made a mistake and put an answer of 470, I would know something isn't quite right here. If I have 70 and I'm taking away money, I couldn't possibly have a great big number here. So I would want to go through and recheck my work. Once I realized I made a mistake, I would just simply change my answer. It's always very important to check your work once you finish solving a story problem. It's your turn now to do some practice. Here are your quiz questions for today. Please take out your math notebook. You need to copy the start, change, and end diagrams, and please number them 1, 2, and 3. In problem number 1, you are going to start with 24. Now in this case, there aren't any units or dollar signs. Just practice what you need to do. You're starting with 24. That 24 is going to change by 12, by a plus 12. You need to figure out what is the ending number. In example number 2, you are starting with 10. You are changing that 10 by minus 3. You then need to figure out the ending number. 3 is a little more tricky. Be careful and really think this through. Double check your work and see if it makes sense at the end. This time you don't know what you're starting with, but you do know whatever that number was, it changed by minus 5. It got smaller by 5, and then you ended with 30. Your job is to figure out what was that starting number. Again, think that through very carefully. That might be a little bit tricky. Once you have your answers completed, please take the quiz, put your answers from your notebook into the computer quiz, and then you will have finished your homework for tonight. Thank you, students, and I will see you soon.